everyone. So we're out here in the garden and I have some work to do. It is August, first week in August, and I need to get in here, especially in this zucchini patch right here, and I need to get some of these plants out of here. I think I had 3 zucchini and 2 yellow squash. And because I planted them so densely next to each other, I was taking a risk. But I think only one of the plants, maybe 2, produced for me. And the rest just produced male flowers and leaves. So I think I'll hang on to the one plant, but all the rest, they need to come out because I need to get peas in there. I need to get my fall crops in. So I'm going to be doing some cleaning up in this garden today, especially because now it's been cooler this last day. It's not going to be cool today, but while I have this early morning coolness, I better take advantage of it. I've got some tomatoes turning red here. My cherry tomatoes. I've already picked some of my green tomatoes and made fried green tomatoes. I know I said I was going to do a recipe, but I apologize, I couldn't wait. So anyway, I've got some jalapeno peppers here, and once they get big enough, I'm going to pickle those. So maybe I can do a video on that. So I will be pickling some jalapenos. And then I've got some melons that need to be supported. I've got this tarp down because I tilled out this whole garden area and then all the grass grew back because I didn't do what I was planning on doing with it. I kind of ran out of resources. So I've got this big tarp down because the grass is just insane. I'm trying to smother it. Anyhow, I need to support the melons that are growing. If you could see a couple of those. I need to get the fabric that I have inside and support those. My mustard greens are trying to go to seed over there. You see those little yellow flowers? Yeah. I let 2 of them go, and I will harvest the seeds for those. But the rest of them I'm trying to hang on to. That way, when it does cool off, they'll do better and they won't be trying to seed. My straight 8 cucumbers are doing phenomenal. I don't have any female flowers yet, but they are doing great. Look at all that growth. I will do a video on those. I've got my bok choy here that's looking good. I've got Swiss chard that I have harvested. I need to get all these radishes that are left. This is all radishes down here. I need to get all these radishes out. I was thinking, got some kale in there, down in there, of making some kale chips. So we'll see what I have once I harvest that. This is all beautiful lettuce that I need to harvest. I'm going to keep it growing. I'm going to do the cut and come again method because I want the lettuce to keep growing. But I just really need to get out here and do some stuff. So that's the plan, and I will come back to you when I'm done. So I've cleared out some space in here. I left 2 of the zucchini plants because they look like they are still flowering and I might get something. And then I have 1 little yellow squash in the back, and I'm just gonna wait and see if that does anything. Last time I got one, it was about that big and then it rotted, but we'll see. If it doesn't become anything, then that will come out. But in the meantime, I'm going to put some nitrogen fixing beans and peas in this space over here. Some bush beans, I thought they were pole beans when I got them, but it turned out they were bush beans. Either way, they're beans. I found a bean plant that was tucked away. I got some beans there, but not many. I want a full bush plant, so I'm going to get a couple of those in, and some peas along the fence there. And that's the plan for this space here. So, this is the radish harvest. I got all the radishes out. I don't think I'm going to be doing radishes again. Not certain. But it seems like I'm the only one eating them, so that's a lot of radishes. I'll probably pickle those, and then we'll see if anyone else likes them. But these were plants that somebody gave me, and I never knew what they were. Now, part of me wants to think they're collard greens, because I have collard greens down at the end there. And these look like they could be collard greens. They are taking a beating. They are. And hopefully with this weather winding down a little, well, maybe not, I don't know. Because it is, I mean, it was so cold yesterday, and then today it's like going to be 80, so. Anyhow, we did have a lot of rain, and I have not been out here spraying with the neem oil like I should. But now that I know, or now that I'm almost positive that these are collard greens, I am going to start spraying them. Because there's nothing in the middle there. So there's no like broccoli or cabbage or anything like that. Because she had a lot of plants, and she had too many of, you know, too much. And she asked me if I could use some. I said sure, but I never knew what they were, so I didn't know if they were broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. I didn't know. But now that I'm looking at them, they are a very good possibility that they're collard greens. Here's the kale, and I will probably harvest most of this kale and try to make some kale chips. I don't know, we'll see how that goes. I've never done that before. If you have any comments or ideas or suggestions on the kale chips, let me know. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Have you tried to make them? I need some more Swiss chard. I did plant 3 rows of it. I think I was supposed to get about 12 plants. Between 9 and 12 plants, but they all did not germinate, so, and the ones I do have are little. The bok choy, I have not harvested any yet, and I was not going to wait for it to be fully grown. I was just going to harvest leaves as I go, so I will be harvesting some of that soon. I wanted the leaves to get a little bit big enough that I could roll or wrap them, kind of like, excuse me, kind of like cabbage rolls, because that's what bok choy is. It's a Chinese cabbage, and I wanted to stuff them with some kind of a stuffing. My husband is trying this thing, and I just might try it with him. He is on this, you know, vegan kick, so we're going to see how that goes. I have read a lot about it. I've seen some recipes, and it looks like it's something I might try. But over here we've got some melons I got to tie up. I got to support those before they get too big. And I think I have one little tiny watermelon over there. The watermelons did not do good. I have not been able to successfully grow watermelons yet. I have grown a couple of plants, and they get probably till about this size, and then something happens. The plant dies, or the melon gets rotted, and I never get a melon. I know some of you do grow the little, you know, the smaller watermelons, I was growing a yellow meat and I was growing a sugar baby. And I don't even know which one this one is because it ended up outside the fence. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, it ended up outside the fence. I want to say that it is a sugar baby because the yellow meat ones were transplants. I bought those at the nursery. So I put those right in, and they were all over here with the other melons. But that one that got outside the fence, yeah, I'm not sure which one that is, but I wanna say it's probably a sugar baby, most likely. And these here, these beans going up the fence here, these were supposed to be bush beans. I bought these from somebody. She was selling plants for like 25 cents a piece, and I was like, oh, let me go check them out. And I hadn't had any bush beans, so I thought I had pole beans, and I had bush beans, and then I was buying the bush beans from her because I thought all I had was pole beans. I don't know if you can see that label, but she said they were bush beans, so I said, oh, okay, well, let me get some bush beans. I have some pole beans, let me get some bush beans. Turned out it was the other way around. I have the bush beans, and these here, obviously, these look like pole beans. So yeah, how that worked was funny. Cantaloupes are still doing okay. They're still, they're still climbing. And I got a couple fruits. I had to really, really trim down, like prune it. A lot of these leaves down here were dying and turning brown, and I was afraid I was losing the whole plant. But the growth on the top looks healthy, so I'm gonna let it go as long as it can and see if I can get a few melons out of it. I will do a separate video on the cucumbers because I have a few tips for that. But yeah, nice radish harvest here. I need to harvest some of this lettuce. Mustard greens are still holding on. I don't have a lot of those left. I am gonna get some more of those started. I have lots of flowers over here. I'm gonna harvest seed for the mustard plants. For the fall, I want to have turnip greens, mustard greens, and collard greens, and kale, and of course the Swiss chard and the bok choy. So I'm gonna try. I was watching the M.I. Gardener. I like to watch him a lot, and he brought out an interesting subject about what to plant in your fall garden. And I was always under the impression that you had to plant cool weather crops in your fall garden, but he really brought out a good point that if you look on the back of the seed packets, it tells you how many days it is till you can harvest. And as long as you have that many days left before your first frost, then you can grow that plant. So my peppers did not do well this year. I've got lots of jalapeno peppers that did, okay. They're just now producing. But I had no bell peppers this year. None. I've got a Jimmy Nardello plant that's over here in this pot, and it's doing good. I've got peppers on there, and it's a sweet pepper. It's not a hot pepper. But I wanted some big, nice, beautiful bell peppers, and I had bought from the nursery like a 4-pack of red peppers, and I had planted green bell peppers from seed, and the nursery plants didn't do good, and neither did my seed. I got them to grow. They started, and I transplanted them all, but I didn't get any peppers. Like, I think these two here in the back, they might produce something because they look like they got some buds, like on the very top there. But it is like they're stunted. The growth is stunted. Look at this guy. He's loud. I can hear him buzzing. Where'd he go? There he is. I can hear him. And he totally skipped over my strawberry plants, my strawberry blossoms over there. I really need to weed that. It is, I'm so embarrassed because that is like that. But like I said in a previous video, they were not really doing very well. I wasn't satisfied with them, so I kind of, in a sense, gave up on those. But I do need to get in there and weed because I think I want to put some spinach in there. So yeah, I need some of that space. But like I was saying, the M.I. Gardener brought out a big important point that I didn't realize before. But I'm going to try to grow peppers, another round of peppers. We'll see how that does. August is usually a pretty hot month, and maybe they'll do better when it's, you know, fully hot. Because this garden does get full sun. Like if you see down there, the sun is just now starting to hit that side. But by the time, you know, an hour from now, this whole area is going to be in full sun. And it stays in full sun until the sun goes down. So I wish I would have been able to do this back the other way. Like I did this bed all the way up to the melons. This bed I did first. And I got all my tomatoes and zucchini and corn and green and peppers and everything in first. And then I did greens down there. And I wish I would have did it the other way around, because this garden gets a little more shade, and those plants on that side get more sun than these plants on this side, and those plants are the plants that need more shade. So next year I know better. The corn is, I didn't mention the corn, but the corn is doing great. I've never grown corn before, so I've got some ears. Look at that. I've got one there. I've got one coming there. Here's one over there. There's a couple on the inside. I don't know if you can see those. Yeah, some in the back over there. Look at all those corn. Yes. So hopefully get some good sweet corn. This was like a trial for me because I never grew corn. So yeah, I think I need to add some nitrogen. It's getting brown at the bottom. We have just had so much rain these past few days. I'm sure they need a feeding. Anyhow, that is what's going on. So that's it for today. Thanks for coming along with me. Thanks for walking around with me. I hope you all have a marvelous day and happy gardening. Bye.